Hello, everybody. It is the Jedi In Exile podcast, guys. Here, you've got the Norfolk Lion and its tats. Today, we're talking about something that I feel like we needed to talk about. It's something that's on everybody's lips if you're a Star Wars fan. We're going to be talking about the Kenobi show. Ewan McGregor is back. So today we're going to be talking about what we're excited to see, what we're expecting to see. So we just want to talk about the Kenobi show because we're so damn excited.
It is absolutely incredible, and I honestly cannot remember the last time I was this pumped for a TV show.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. This is one thing Disney did. This is what the fans wanted. We didn't want a solo film. We didn't want all the. We didn't, to be fair, want the Mandalorian, but it was really good when it came out. But we all just wanted a Kenobi show. We just bloody love ObiWan Kenobi.
Right, let's get into it, and to put us in the mood, I've dug out this beautiful
Get ready.
beautiful image of the chosen one that is Ewan
Wee.
McGregor. Here he is. Here he is. Um, cool. Let's get into it. As you've said, mate, it's something that is huge at the moment. I don't think that you could type Star Wars into Google without something about this show coming up in
Just
the.
saying, This is the most excited I think I've been since Revenge of the Sith came out on 19th of May 2005. I don't think I've been this excited about anything Star Wars related since. So it's a really big deal.
I I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not gonna argue with you. I was trying to think. I'll be the voice of reason in it. I'm not gonna argue with you at all.
No, there's no reasoning with it.
I think. Do you know what? For me, it's just the fact that there is so much that has been left unsaid. There's so much to think about, so much to kind of explore. I mean, everything at the moment is rumors. We know that Ewan McGregor's back. We're getting kind of casting news left, right, and center as stuff's happening and as people are seen like on set and
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff that is confirmed, a lot of stuff that isn't confirmed. I think we're gonna kind of just talk about everything and kind of just go with it. But for me, the huge thing, other than Ewan McGregor being back, one guy we need to be talking about right now, Hayden Christensen.
yeah, absolutely. That is huge that he's coming back because it opens up so many more avenues of what could be included in the show. So we're assuming that it's going to mean flashbacks. Now, where those flashbacks go back to, we don't know, but we're going to assume again that they're going to go back to maybe Obi-Wan thinking about maybe where he went wrong in Anakin's training. We'll be seeing some scenes maybe that happened, whether it's during the Clone Wars, whether it's during Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones, like all of that. We're gonna be able to maybe go into Obi-Wan's mind and what he's thinking.
So let's think about this logically, right? Hayden Christensen is now what 15, 16, 17 years older than he was back then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Something.
Therefore, I know we've seen Disney do some crazy like anti-aging CGI madness, but realistically, we are looking at something. We're not likely to see anything pre Attack of the Clones.
No, no,
Is
I wouldn't put that.
likely to be, if it's a flashback, it's going to be something between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, yeah,
Which,
yeah, yeah, 100%.
I mean, there's questions to be answered, right? There's
Absolutely.
how did he get the scar?
Yeah,
It was explained in the animated micro series that is no longer canon and a lot of people forget about. Second important question for me: why the long hair? Um, it's a
loads of
choice.
Jedi do this. Obi-Wan did it. I mean, it's like they get rid of the braid and they're like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna grow a mullet.
Like
Like,
I've been told for so long, short hair and a braid. No, no, no. Um,
yeah,
And
I'm going the opposite way.
the third important question for me personally is, what happened on Cato Nemoidia? That is what
Yeah.
I want to see.
Why is that such a bone of contention? Yeah, definitely. I think there's, for me, I would, just the fact of Hayden Christensen, I am very much, I want to see a flashback of Anakin at the temple, or Obi-Wan seeing a bit more of what happened at the temple through like the hollow recordings or something, because we, in Revenge of the Sith, you've got the badass moment where Anakin has like pledged himself to Palpatine to be becoming a Sith Lord, and he's walking up the steps with the 501st Legion. The badass music, which is my ringtone by the way, is playing when he's walking up there, and then the next thing you see is all the Jedi being killed, basically Order 66 being carried out, which is awesome. But I want to see Anakin in the Jedi Temple, like the people who he's grown up with, who, you know, a day before he would have been probably chatting with while he's having food, like, or that, like the battles inside, the clones in the Jedi Temple.
Well,
That's the kind of thing I want to see.
there's all the people that he kind of grows up and has like a relationship, and I know that he starts his training much later, which is obviously one of the big reasons that they don't want to take him on. But for me, like Obi-Wan and Anakin both have a really good relationship with Quinlan Voss. So he's a guy who, for those of you that haven't seen, he appears in the Clone Wars. Actually makes a really sneaky cameo in the Phantom Menace if you go back and watch. And he's kind of he's the first canon reference to the like Force echo that we see in the Fallen Order game. But I'm kind of interested to see what they do as to whether or not if they're going down the flashback route, are they going to have these sorts of supporting characters thrown in?
Yeah.
Are we going to see a little bit more? And taking it back to your point about the Jedi Temple itself, if you think about it, we don't actually see very much of even the architecture and kind of the build of the Jedi Temple. We kind
I
of
was
see.
just seeing like Attack of the Clones when Obi-Wan's going to the archives, and he's walking like with Yoda.
So you see
And
we see the library, yeah, and we see kind of like a main corridor, which I think we then see again from a slightly different angle when I can't
when
remember.
Yoda and Obi-Wan check the Jedi that have
Yeah,
been killed,
yeah,
like done by a lightsaber, they were.
exactly.
I'm more like a pirate than Yoda. Sorry, I'm working.
Hey, maybe Yoda in his spare time's out on the high seas, like tearing it up.
Yeah.
And then we kind of see like the Jedi Council chambers, and that's all we really, like we don't see very much. So it'd be interesting. I know for one, I'm kind of keen to see what some of his training was like. I've not read any of the books that kind of look at that. I know that you have. You've dabbled. I guess dabble's probably an understatement. But I kind of want to know like what that's like and kind of whether
Yeah.
or not there were any telltale signs. Like George Lucas did a fairly good job of sewing in, like the scene with the Tusken Raiders when Anakin goes and slaughters them, and that's him giving into his emotions and the dark side. But I kind of want to see those like little hints and those little flashes of could Obi-Wan have spotted this a little bit earlier and
Yeah, and
potentially changed it.
I think that's going to be a big part of it. I don't know if it's going to be like one episode, two episodes, three episodes, but you've got to think that Obi-Wan's basically on his own on Tatooine. All he's got to do is look over Luke, and there doesn't seem to be any present danger to begin with. Sorry, there's a fly flying around. But he's going to be inside his own head thinking, where did I go wrong? Like, in his head, he's probably thinking, I've trained and let Anakin go to the dark side. Like, he probably feels like he's taking, whether he is owed a lot of the responsibility for that.
Well,
And in turn, he's probably blaming himself for the end of the Jedi Order.
and I think this is the thing, right? So obviously, throwing it back to some obscure books as again, you see the relationship between Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon in the I want to say the Master and Apprentice books. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah,
And kind of Qui-Gon through all of this, he's the chosen one. He's 100% like the prophecy. He is the chosen one. This is it. We've done it. We've found it. Like balance, balance in the forces. Like inbound. We've got it. And Obi-Wan actually believes that. You know, when you throw it back to the scene on Mustafar, which is probably one of the most emotional scenes in the prequel trilogy, at least, if not the entire saga. Like, you see it absolutely tear Obi-Wan apart. The fact that he put all of his faith into this being it, and this being like the end goal for the
yeah.
Jedi Order.
I think he defended Anakin, to Yoda, to Mace Windu, all the other skeptical members of the Jedi Order, and I bet there was, hundreds, considering there was thousands of Jedi. It's probably hundreds of Jedi thinking, why have we taken this 10-year-old on? We've broken tradition for this guy who don't know whether he is a chosen one, because the chosen one is a bit like, I suppose, a myth. People don't really believe in it, so they see Anakin as a bit of an outsider. And Obi-Wan has had to defend him and been like, no, he will come good. I trust him. Like, Qui-Gon wasn't wrong, and he's basically broken all of that, and that's why I think so much emotion comes out from. And Ewan McGregor does a great job at getting that across. Can I just say that scene is? I was watching it in cinema and as like an 11-year-old, and yeah, was like crying my eyes out basically. Because it's like Obi-Wan spent most of his life training Anakin.
Well, he's not a master, is he? He's not a master when in the Phantom Menace. In fact, he's not passed the trials, is he? So he's
No, he doesn't actually go on the trials, does he? Yoda just makes him a Jedi Knight from the
yeah.
fact that he and Darth Maul.
So for all of his kind of fully fledged Jedi life, that's what he's been doing. You know that's what his goal's been. I guess we've talked about flashbacks and that sort of content. I think you're right. I think there's going to be the psychological aspect of how does he cope and how does he deal with kind of what's actually happened. Um, I kind of want to talk about other things that maybe are a little bit rumored. There's some things that are out a little bit out there. Um,
I just say the first thing I want to talk about is if you Google Kenobi cast, Ice Cube randomly pops up.
Man, I think that's a great casting
Um,
choice. He is the first person that I think of when I think Star Wars. So, I mean,
yeah, I'm hoping he's going to be some kind of badass, like maybe a Jedi. Can you imagine if there's a flashback and he's one of the Jedi?
well, I'm just going to throw it out there while we're talking about it. It's not even a rumor, it's confirmed that Sung Kang of Fast and Furious notoriety, I guess is probably the best way of describing him, is confirmed in the cast. Has today, this has been recorded late Friday night in the UK, has today released a quote to the press to say that his character has a lightsaber within the series. Now, are we looking at a flashback? Are we looking at that? Or are we looking at potentially a Jedi who's managed to avoid Order 66 and found Kenobi? Are we talking...
I'm wondering if Obi-Wan becomes like almost he like stumbles upon somebody, because Tatooine you'd think is quite a good place for a Jedi to hide. It's in the Outer Rim, but the Empire aren't really too focused on it. So does Obi-Wan go into like Mos Eisley spaceport and he's like, I know you. And
Well,
the other Jedi, oh my god, holy crap, it's Master Kenobi.
the other thing is, we've seen things like the Inquisitors in Rebels. Is this going to be the start of that process? We just don't know, and I think that to me is probably what is quite exciting. Is there are all these questions of what do we want to see, but also I lost faith a little bit as a Star Wars fan when we got Rogue One and when we got Solo, and then with the sequel trilogy, I kind of I'll always be here. I'm never gonna go, but your faith flickers for a little while, and the Mandalorian showed me that live action Star Wars is not dead and can be
Dave Filoni.
exciting. In Dave
I
Filoni, we
think
trust.
I think what we feared is that we always thought there was going to be a Kenobi movie, and when Solo came out, because let's be honest, it flopped for what Disney wanted, that it was then determined that, right, okay, there's not going to be a Kenobi movie, and everyone was like, Solo was ruined, blah blah blah. But actually, maybe that was a blessing in disguise, that now Disney have thought, well, actually, we can do a series and get so much more. We're going to get so much more screen time for most beloved characters in the whole of Star Wars,
And
and it fills such a gap in that 20-year period.
and I do
Um,
I do think that this is massive. Like, this was pushed by the fans, for like completely. This is what can we do to please the fans? We've lost the fans. What can we do to pull the fans back on side? Because people have been screaming out for it for ages. People wanted the return of Ewan McGregor. People wanted to see Kenobi back in action. Kind of, I'm gonna say in his prime, but you know, pre Alec Guinness Kenobi going at it, and that kind of, I guess, also.
loads of money. It's the thing. It's people are going to sign up to the Disney Plus to bloody watch it.
Yeah.
Like, this was a no-brainer.
Um, I think I'm interested to see what they do with the whole. I just mentioned him. The whole like Alec Guinness, Ewan McGregor transformation. I know from watching the behind the scenes. Yeah, well, I know from watching the behind the scenes and kind of some of the featurettes and stuff with Revenge of the Sith, that when they were designing Obi-Wan's look, they kind of had headshots of him from Attack of the Clones, and then they had headshots of Alec Guinness from A New Hope, and they were kind of trying to find a middle ground. And I know that they painted in some grey hairs to kind of show it going down that route. But I mean, you genuinely have to think, like, 20 years isn't a massive amount of time to go from looking the way that he did in Revenge of the Sith to the way that he looks in A New Hope. And I totally get there's like an emotional toll and he's going to be put under stress and stuff, but who knows. I hope that this isn't one where they just shoehorn in a random way to explain it away, or where they just do that thing where they go, let's just pretend it wasn't a different actor and everyone will be okay with it. Like, I hope that they find a way to actually make that make sense. But
Yeah, no, it's just so exciting.
we'll see what happens. I think we could chat about this for hours. I'm sure that we will come and touch back on this.
Absolutely.
I know that there are other things that I would love to chat about. The possibility of Ahsoka coming in and them tying it in with some of the Ahsoka series that's going on, and just other characters that they could pull in. If you guys want to hear more about it, if we can bring you some more news on stuff that's going on kind of closer to the time. We don't even have a release date yet, is the big thing. Still unconfirmed as to whether or not it's going to be the end of this year or being pushed into 2022. You know, we are still a way off from this thing actually being out there and watchable. We've got other things coming up, other Star Wars projects coming up. Star Wars Visions is literally out in 2 days. We'll be chatting about that potentially on the podcast. Might be something we cover off on the podcast. And whilst we're mentioning that, plug time, podcast is happening next Sunday, the 26th of September, 9 p.m. BST. Over on Twitch. The Twitch link will be in the description below. I guess any kind of closing thoughts from yourselves, any key things that you want to cover before we wrap up?
I just can't fucking wait for the Kenobi show.
As soon as we get the release date, we'll get it out on our socials. We'll be sharing everything. Make sure you follow us because we'll try and get all the news out. And he will have it down in his diary the second that there is a release date announced. Don't you worry.
I feel like this is the equivalent. This is the equivalent of when the internet got broken with Kim Kardashian doing like the shoot in the wall.
Oh, mate, this is our moon landing. I'm gonna say it. This is our moon landing.
One wall show for Disney, one giant show for the Star Wars universe.
But no, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for supporting as always. We can't do this without you guys supporting us. So we hope you're gonna join us. This probably will be the last video that goes out before the podcast. So make sure to check in the description box down below for all the socials where we can spam out all the details of the live show. Fingers crossed you can come and join us for it. Anything that you want to see us chat about, if you get it in early enough, we will try and make it happen. If not, then we can try and make a video about it for you. And I'll let you do the sign off.
Perfect. Right. Well, like I say, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the content on this video, and we look forward to releasing more videos and seeing you next Sunday. That is the Jedi in Exile, guys. Out.
Peace.